thank you so much for joining me in today's video. It's not a video that I am really excited to share necessarily. It's the craziest thing that's happened to me while transitioning. So I'm gonna tell you how it is and I'm gonna tell you how it was. So without further ado, let's just get right into the video. All right guys, so jumping right in, I'm gonna tell you guys about the craziest thing that's happened to me while being transgender, and it all began in the workplace. So I was about to move out of the state and things kind of went a little sideways for me. Things didn't go as planned. So I ended up needing to get another job in order for me to make a little extra money until I actually moved. So I decided I was gonna get a job at a lovely chain restaurant. And I had never worked in a chain restaurant before. Every restaurant that I had worked in previously was more of a high-end restaurant, a very different clientele, a very different menu. Things were a little bit less complicated. There wasn't 100 things on the menu. And so it was a little bit more of an adjustment for me going into this workplace as it was. And then having to deal with harassment just made it even worse, let me tell you. So I got hired on the spot for this restaurant, and immediately I told my hiring manager that I was transgender, but I did not feel comfortable letting my fellow employees know because I didn't really present as female at the time. It was literally like 3 months after I started transitioning. I had so much going on around me as it was, and I didn't really want to put myself in a situation where I would feel even more uncomfortable. So she agreed that she would not tell anyone until the time came, because I think it was like a month after I started working there, I was going to get a gender confirming surgery in which people would actually know at that point that something was different. So I told her after that point I would take it upon myself to basically come out to my fellow employees. So she was totally on board with that. And a few days later I came in for my first training shift and I got my name tag. And lo and behold, it said Kayla on it. And I was just like, hey, like, you know, I thought we discussed that we weren't gonna, you know, push this transgender thing. We were gonna, you know, have me go by my name right now and him pronouns, that's totally fine. I just don't wanna make this even more of an issue than it is. And she informed me that everyone already knew and they were informed. So basically it was a forced come out at work. And that was very uncomfortable for me, and rightfully so, because I should have trusted my gut, trusted my instinct. I did trust my gut and my instinct, and she didn't listen to me. And problems just immediately started. Like I said, it was my first training day, and I was starting to enter things into the computer and serve tables, and when I would do so, my name tag said Kayla, but in the computer it said my birth name. So the kitchen was confused and they were making comments about it. And I was informed, at least, that everyone knew. So I didn't think it was gonna be that big of an issue. Well, the kitchen staff started asking me questions and they started laughing at me whenever I told them, you know, that I was transgender and that I did go by Kayla. So already I felt super uncomfortable in this work environment and it was just annoying to me. But I let it go. I just swept it under the rug because I was there to make my money, get my bag, and go home. You know what I mean? So I let it go. Well, time went on, weeks went on, and things were said, comments were made. I was being pushed, I was being shoved, you know, I was being harassed and bullied by the kitchen staff at this point. I had one kitchen staff member, I think he was like the sous chef or something, or assistant chef. He would constantly make comments, and he actually found my Facebook, in which on Facebook in my personal life, I did present as female and go by my chosen name. And he asked me why I didn't look like that at work, but it was in a negative way, a rude way. And he just started laughing at me again, getting the kitchen staff to laugh at me. He showed them my Facebook account. And it was very uncomfortable for me at that point again. And at that point I did tell the management staff that I was feeling a little uncomfortable and a little harassed, and I was letting them know about the pushing and the shoving. And they said that they would have a talk with the entire kitchen staff, and they actually did have a meeting with them. And things got a little better. I actually received apologies from some of the kitchen staff members, and some of them who told me they didn't understand it, but they would respect it. And that did make me feel a little bit better. But there was just a few that weren't having it, and they were honestly like thugs and jail rats, honestly. So they just thought they were big and bad, and they just wanted to continue the harassing. They continued their harassing for another few weeks, and they were calling me it, that, just being so rude to me when I'd put in an order. If it wasn't exactly correct, or if they had questions, they would make comments to each other and, you know, like I said, call me it and that. And it was just really uncomfortable. And I did end up telling the managers again, and actually managers were there to witness that, and they did absolutely nothing. And they said they would once again have a talk with them and let them know that harassment was not okay in the workplace. After this happened, I actually got pulled back into the management office, and they told me that I was basically the problem, that it was confusing for them because I wasn't passable, that I wasn't making a conscious effort to be more passable, to be more feminine. And I explained to them the reasons why, because I didn't feel comfortable and I didn't want to be out in the first place. Also, if I was going to wear hair extensions or wigs, you know, that's not sanitary because, you know, it could get into the food, the wig shed. It wasn't comfortable. I wasn't ready for that. It just wasn't my time. And I informed them that this is partially y'all's fault too, because y'all basically outed me when I didn't want to be outed. But I told them, you know, next week I was going to be getting a gender confirming surgery. And at that point, everyone would basically see me as more feminine. And from that point on, I would feel more comfortable coming to work as they wanted, to be a more passable female. And so I went about my business, and they said, okay. And basically I left work and I had an opening shift the next day after they quote unquote had another conversation with the kitchen team. And they didn't know that I was opening that day, I guess. I don't know what the situation was. I didn't know if I picked up a shift or something. I don't know. But basically what ended up happening is I went in for my shift and I walked around the corner in the kitchen. They couldn't see me around the corner. And I heard them discussing, they were wanting to kill trans women, and my name was brought up in that conversation. So I heard them say that they wanted to kill me. They wanted to hurt me. They would beat me up and things of that nature. And when I tell you, it was the most terrifying experience, even though I wasn't face to face with them. I felt so threatened and so violated and so scared for my life in that moment that I just ran out of the restaurant and called my mom and told her what I heard. You know, she informed me how she felt and that that was a dangerous situation and I needed to watch my back and be careful. Fortunately, I didn't really need that job, so I was prepared. It was just for extra money, so I was prepared to leave if I needed to, but I was definitely going to inform management about this because this was not okay. And if I felt so threatened that I needed to quit my job, then I would hope there would be some type of repercussions for them. And I told management, and once again, they said they would have a talk with them. A talk. Just a talk. And I was just so disgusted at that time. And the manager that I told this to actually was the manager who was so accepting. And come to find out, she definitely is not very accepting. She says she's an ally, but she's not. She has said not okay things about trans people online and to me online, and ended up blocking me on Facebook, on social media because of it. And I just felt super uncomfortable. And I decided I was gonna come into work the next day, even after all of that, just to feel it out. I walked in and I immediately walked out. The bottom line here is trans women are already victims of hate crimes as it is. The numbers are extremely high right now, and you should never put yourself in a situation where you feel like your life is threatened. Even if it has to do with your job, you can find another job. You know, it's so sad to me that these things happen, but it's very real and we have to watch our backs. And that's exactly what I did in this situation. I felt threatened. I felt scared for my life. I didn't want to, you know, close at work one day and get beat up in the parking lot. You know, even if they didn't do it, I'm sure they had homeboys that would do it for them, you know? So it's like, I didn't want to put my life in danger. I watched my back, and even to this day, that experience has changed and molded who I am today. I won't go out alone to like a bar. You know, I don't feel comfortable to put myself in a vulnerable situation. And definitely can't stress it enough that you guys need to do the same. Like I said, unfortunately, trans women are victims of hate crime all the time now. So we definitely have to protect ourselves and watch our backs, whatever that means for you. Just always take that into consideration. So I know this video was a little bit heavier, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked this video, if you liked me, please I was pointing down for you guys to like the video, and also subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. If you guys want to know more storytime videos about things that have happened to me for being transgender, let me know in the comment section below. I promise they are not as heavy as the one I just shared with you. Some of them are actually really funny to talk about and look back on today. But yeah, thank you guys so much again for being so supportive and watching my video. Until next time, stay blessed.